It's finally to be back. How's it going, YouTube? Ellison here, and welcome back to a very special video that I have for you guys. I was inspired to make this video because of Manje and his podcast I did with him just recently. He asked me on there, one of the questions was, what was my favorite obscure video game that I wish everyone else would either try or know about? And it took me some time to really think about it, because I played so many different kinds of games, so many different genres throughout my lifetime, that it was just hard to really point down to just one. So I just decided to make a whole video on it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and let me know down in the comments section, what is your favorite obscure video game that you wish everyone else knew and you think that it's overrated? Or not overrated, underrated, that's what I meant. We don't keep that in there, why not? So while I was talking on the podcast, the one game that really popped up into my mind was Dragon Ball Z Burst Limit. I would say that this game is the most underrated Dragon Ball Z game that I have ever experienced. For some reason, everyone else just talks so much about Budokai Tenkaichi, even Raging Blast, but they don't talk about Burst Limit, and it's such blasphemy. Maybe a whole lot of Dragon Ball fans just haven't experienced it or something, but it was just left in the dust. Because every other installment like Budokai Tenkaichi, they all got a sequel or even a third game, but this one didn't get anything, man. It wasn't even finished. It didn't even get past the Cell Saga, which, I ain't too complaining too much about, because the Buu Saga ain't the craziest, arc of the series, but still. And for today's standards, the graphics and visuals still hold up, man. Like, look at the gameplay, look at it, look at the cutscenes. The cutscenes and narrative was so well done in this game compared to any of these other games that I've talked about. It's mind-boggling how obscure this game really is and how underrated this game really is. Like, listen to the soundtrack, my guy. Pitfall: The Lost Expedition. Pitfall: The Lost Expedition was made by Activision, and it came out in the year 2004, and it's a platform game. Now, I have so many great and fond memories of this game as a kid. This was one of my go-tos on the GameCube. I loved the adventure, I loved the charismatic characters, and Pitfall Harry and that girl that he was... I already forgot her name, it's been so long. But yeah, man, this was a very solid game. It really gives you that Tim Drake, Tomb Raider vibe to it. There's magic involved, power-ups. You can turn into certain animals like a baby monkey, and that was awesome. That was probably one of my favorites. And easily my favorite character of the whole game was the freaking talking jaguar named Quick Claw. I swear, this game is so obscure. I even went on to that one, I forgot what it's called, the website where where the genie, what the heck's his name? I forgot what it's called, but I'm gonna remember it. But you can type in a character's name and he's supposed to figure it out with certain questions. I swear, I chose this character and he couldn't even think of this character at all. It was hilarious. This game is so obscure out of all that PS2 era. Like, it's so ridiculous how unpopular this game is. Even Super Butterbuns made a video on this game. You want to know more about the game? Go to her video. I Ninja. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, but this is a game that even I forgot about until recently when I'm making this video, and my brother told me about this game. And I remember him playing this game so fucking much. Usually a lot of games that are kind of obscure like this, I remember just going into his room and I see him playing these games. I'm just so mesmerized of what's happening on the screen, of him playing as this ninja whose also name is Ninja, who is trying to capture some rage gems and it chops off his sensei's head. It's just some wacky stuff. Despite its wackiness, there's something about it that just gives it character. The ninja that you play as just has so much character to him. I remember his voice. I forgot who his actor is. I don't know who his voice actor is. But this is a really solid game. I had to go watch some reviews on it just to refresh my memory of it. There's some great ninja mechanics, some solid boss fights, cool little mini games like riding on this freaking ball and it's weird. You can upgrade your sword. You can even progress through your belt ranks, going from your beginner belt, which is white, and I think the mastery is black, I think. Don't quote me on that. But so far, this brought back some memories, man. This was a solid game. And it's also can be very rage-inducing because this is one of the reasons I never even completely beat the game or even got halfway through, is because I was just too young to beat it. I was just not skilled enough as a gamer at the time to beat it. I mean, this game came out in 2003. I was only 3 at the time. I probably played it around 4 or 5 or 6 maybe. Not exactly sure. But I gotta say, it's a remarkable game. I would, at least out of like a 10, I'd give it like a 6.5 to 7. I'd say it's above average game. A lot of fun, great entertainment. Could be boring after a while. But if you want an actual solid review, I'd recommend checking out this video. Piglets Big Game. Woo! Baby, I wonder how many people out there who are Winnie the Pooh fans actually felt this one. Piglets Big Game was based on the movie, well, Piglets Big Movie. It's a game that came out on the year 2003 of February the 2nd on the GameCube and the PS2, which I had played it on the GameCube. It was also published by Gotham Games, which I think is not around anymore. Disney Interactive and Take-Two Interactive. Holy shit. Fucking cookies are microtransactions. With this game's story being based around the movie, for the most part you play as Little Piglet here. Of course, and with him being so little, he feels helpless towards everyone. And I mean everyone. Not only does he feel helpless, he feels like a complete wuss. He gets scared way too easily, and mostly this game is about him overcoming his fears and learning how to help everyone. And it's our job as the player to help Piglet realize that the biggest surprises come from the smallest packages. Nigga, what? Then the narrator just straight up tells us that everyone just falls asleep and completely forgets about Piglet. And then Piglet just gets so sad and depressed that he actually leaves the 100-acre wood. Damn, this game's starting off dark as fuck. Why the hell they all knocked the fuck out at the same exact time? Like, what the hell did they take? Look, Rabbit's knocked down in his wheelbarrow. Eeyore being Eeyore. Oh shit, he actually looks happier in his sleep than he does when he's awake. And instead, bouncing on his tail, Tigger's knocked the fuck out somehow. Despite all that, Piglet has to go inside their dreams and helps them out in their weird situations inside their dreams. Like for instance, Rue here lost her ball. His ball. Shit. You may think this game is lighthearted, but really, it's scary as fuck as a kid. Like you go from this moment right here and then this.
Oh, I've an idea. If you scare me, I'll let you in. But I think you are much too frightened.
The gameplay is actually extremely fun though, at least from what I remember. Run into different enemies like Heffalumps and Woozles, and different variants of those, while also collecting cookie currencies to actually unlock different scare animations to scare higher leveled enemies. There's even other segments where you can play as Tigger and even Pooh Bear, and you got these cool sneaking, bone-chilling, hair-standing moments where if you get caught by one of these motherfuckers, you gotta haul ass, and it's hilarious watching Pooh Bear haul ass. Come on, Pooh Bear, you got a jar of honey at the end of the fucking room. You got this, boy. Come on, burn off them pounds, son. All in all, it is a fantastic game for any young kid or even a teenager. Or if you're just a freaking Winnie the Pooh fan, you gotta have this in your collection. Come on now. This game is so obscure and underrated. It's sad. It really is sad. Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus.
I was born into a family of master thieves that went back for generations.
Sly Cooper was a video game that came out in the year 2002. Now you see the pattern here? They're all like early 2000 games. If you know about Sly Cooper and you played all the games, you know he's probably one of the greatest Sony characters they have. But even though he's not as well known as like Crash Bandicoot and Spyro and those guys, the gameplay in these three characters, Sly, Murray, and Bentley, they're just a great experience, man. It's an amazing series to play. And if you haven't played it, go the heck and find one of the games and play it. It would be amazing to have the Sly series have a huge comeback, but with the kind of the downfall of Sly Cooper and the Thieves of Time on the PS3, I don't see that happening anytime soon, which sucks, but it is what it is. Van Helsing, the video game. Van Helsing is a movie-based third-person shooter that came out in the year 2004, just like its actual movie that also came out in 2004, Van Helsing, with Hugh Jackman in it. Look, I know this has nothing to do with the game, but this movie is my favorite monster movie of all time. Yes, there, I said it. It has the greatest werewolf looks. The design is just beautiful. It has a great vampire design transformation for Dracula, and the greatest werewolf and vampire battle on cinematic screen in all of history, in my opinion. That is my opinion. You can go suck a nut. Outside of seeing playthroughs of this game on YouTube, I have never heard anybody ever mention this game at all in person. And that's sad for me to see because it's a really good game. It really is. The bosses are very challenging for what I remember. I know I never had the chance to beat this game because it was just too much for me. Because I was never that skilled at the time, even like what I did for iNinja. It was just one of those games where you really had to use everything in Van Helsing's arsenal for that specific boss. Reenact a lot of scenes and a lot of the dialogue from the movie too, which is great, but they also give their own spin on it, which makes it a little different, and I like that. A lot of weapon upgrades, a lot of fun to be had. Just really something to lay down on the couch and just go ham on some monsters, you know what I mean? You know, it's not like this game's gonna be like, oh, this is like the greatest game that I ever played. It's not gonna be anything like that. It's just something to really sit down and just have some fun with. It's very engaging too. But yeah, I wish a lot more people would actually have to try this, or even just watch a YouTube video on it. See if you like it. For those who are watching who have played this game, shout out to you. Fuck yeah. The Lion King, Simba's Mighty Adventure. Since I have a soft spot for Disney, and particularly The Lion King, which is my favorite all-time Disney movie ever, I played this game all the fucking time. This game actually released in the same year that I was born, just months later, and was published by Activision. Wow, Activision, you got some solid games under your belt at this time. I'm not saying that The Lion King itself is obscure, because of course it's like one of the greatest Disney movies that ever been created, but I feel like this game specifically right here is very obscure, at least compared to its predecessor, The Lion King game that came out in 1994, which I actually never had the chance to play it. Yeah, I know, sue me. And I'm not gonna lie to you, as simple as this platforming may seem, this game can be difficult as fuck if you put it on the higher difficulties, even if it's on the easiest that can be. You know, playing this as a kid, like I've been saying throughout this whole video, I wasn't the greatest at at somewhat difficult games, so I usually tend to rage a lot and get very frustrated. I know this ain't an uncommon thing in games, but I think it's like Crash Bandicoot in a way, but as you go through the levels, you actually gain lives. As you can see at the bottom left corner, that's how many lives that you got throughout the whole game, and once you're out of those lives, that's game over. You gotta restart the game from scratch. And whoever thought that was a good idea for these children, You deserve to get slapped for being the devil's advocate. But yeah, out of all the Lion King games that I'm aware of, this is like one of them that are least talked about. Even way more least talked about than the 1994 one, and it just seems crazy to me. 'Cause this one seems like a superior version. It even goes into the second movie, and it's just a fun little game to go through. I mean, ain't nothing special, but dang, it was very obscure and one of my favorite obscure games. And guys, I can sit here and go on about these other games that I have on my list that I have written down for like 30 minutes or so, so I'm not going to do that for you, but I'm going to list them off over the rest that I got. Some honorable mentions, I had to bring up Kingdom Hearts. I mean, the Kingdom Hearts series is it's been obscure for the longest, but with the release of Kingdom Hearts 3 a couple years ago, and all the games being on Xbox now, it's no longer as obscure as it used to be, but it's an honorable mention. Along with Red Dead Revolver. Red Dead Revolver was very obscure for me growing up too. But around the time that Red Dead Redemption came out in 2010 and then Red Dead Redemption 2, I think some people started to actually find more about Red Dead Revolver, so that was a good thing, because I really enjoy that arcadey shoot. But then you also got games like Challenge Showdown, the game, I love that. You got Turok Evolution, Drakon 2. Drakon 2 was fun. I don't remember the woman character's name. I don't remember the dragon's name either, but you could ride on the dragon and fight these enemies and stuff. I remember a little bit of it, and I had some good times with it. Then you got the Peter Jackson's King Kong, man. Oh my god. Peter Jackson's King Kong was so fun for me. Then you got... Anybody remember Disney Stitch Experiment 626? I remember my brother playing it a lot, and I played a little bit of it, but that's another obscure game too. Then there's another one I'm thinking about. Oh, Spyro Dawn of the Dragon. Everybody knows about the Spyro trilogy, but I haven't heard nobody really talk about Spyro Dawn of the Dragon. That was a pretty underrated game for me. Reason I even put on top with even the trilogy is because, man, Spyro can fly in that game, man. Spyro can actually fly. That was always my little nitpick on the trilogy, is because he couldn't fly. But other than that, I think that's about it. Did I bring up the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy? No, I don't think I did. Yeah, the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. Oh, that was a great fighting game, man. But anyway, guys, I think that's gonna end the video here. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Happy New Year's. 2021 is finally upon us. A new year, hopefully a fresh start for all of us. And it's been your host here, LSM, or LS Master, whichever you want to call me. Fine by me. And I will see you all on the next video.